Hey everyone, and welcome to a story where fate collides with fantasy, literally. Imagine waking up in a world you once read about, but this time you're not the heroes. Meet Saul, a reserved young man with memories of another life, a grumpy mentor, and a quiet village nestled on the edge of disaster. But as ancient legends stir and forgotten creatures take flight, Saul discovers that even side characters have a destiny. Grab your gear, because the mist is lifting, the apocalypse is coming, and our journey is just beginning. You should go with the kids, they both said at once. A zombie that eerily resembled Carl lunged at Saul wielding an axe. Saul managed to parry the strike, though the force behind it surpassed his expectations. Saul, you're closest to the kids. They'll feel so much better if it's you who goes with them, Cynthia urged, while the children wept uncontrollably again. It made perfect sense. They'd already lost family and didn't want to endure more grief. Still, leaving Cynthia behind bothered Saul. Cynthia was hurling fireballs from her hands to repel the advancing undead. Cynthia, listen to me, I'll be fine. I've thought this through and you should go with the kids. You're far stronger than I am and they'll stand a better chance with you, Saul insisted. You're such an idiot, Cynthia murmured as she hurried across the bridge with the children, glancing back at Saul, who was waving with a faint smile. Without warning, a sharp blow landed on his head. It was Carl again. Clutching his skull, Saul barely managed to deflect another strike. Carl's attacks came faster now, aimed at the head, the shoulder, the thigh. Saul realized he needed to disrupt Carl's rhythm. He couldn't afford to fall, not until Cynthia and the children were a safe distance away. Dodging the swinging axe by a hair, Saul lashed out with a kick at the zombie's legs. To eliminate a zombie, one had to crush the heart, but Saul only had 10 points in his physical attribute, while these creatures were tremendously stronger. Status Phi 10 speed, 7 magic, 0 ability, 1 flames of desire LV. Use ability 1 and LT Flames of Desire activated and JT. And LT ability level insufficient, reducing active duration and GT. And LT activation time 1 o'clock and GT. 1 minute that had to suffice. As the zombie charged, Saul swung his flame-wreathed weapon. Fire licked his skin as the sword slashed into muscle and bone. His hands burned, but Carl staggered back, wounded. Quoo. I don't want to die, Carl groaned, life dimming in his eyes. I'm sorry to hurt you again, but I must protect someone no matter what, Saul said. These characters were supposed to be fictional, yet why did his heart ache? The other zombies began closing in. Given his stats, trying to take them all on was suicide. He had to flee the island soon. After receiving the Phoenix's blessing, Saul had turned into a glowing essence, losing his physical form so the Phoenix couldn't carry him anymore. Zaref, what now? The dark stag muttered with a scowl. I want my reward from the previous sub-scenario. I don't know why, but you irritate me, Zaref grumbled, yet a small box materialized in Saul's hand. Please let it be armor, please, Saul internally prayed. When the container opened, a long navy blue coat emerged. Item category, armor, inventory description, thermal resistant, regulates temperature and can store 50 units. The success, for once something aligned with his plan, Saul quietly celebrated his small victory. So what now? You do realize there's no way a human survives a fall from this height? The black stag questioned with curiosity. And choosing not to reply, Saul focused on his status window. And LT coin balance, 100 coins and GT. He had only managed to scrape together 100 coins back in Sebet, and that miserly prince barely offered anything beyond essentials. I allocate 50 coins to physical strength. Are you certain you want to allocate 50 coins to physical strength? Yes, 50 coins invested in physical stats, updated physical attribute. 12 the gain was merely 2 levels. And it was a modest increase, yet Saul hesitated to use up all his coins at once. Holding his coat, he approached the outskirts of the village. His heartbeat pounded in his ears while his breath came in short gasps. Fixing his gaze on the stag, he grinned and leapt, plunging toward the ground far below. A dense forest teeming with explosive slimes and vicious boars awaited. As he neared the earth, gravity seemed to anchor him more forcefully. This was the moment. Activation time 00. 10 fire burst from both of his hands, generating backward thrust that softened his landing. Sub-scenario successfully cleared, 100 coins awarded coin balance. 150 upon hitting the ground, pain erupted through his entire frame, though the burns were minimal thanks to the coat. Still, he couldn't let himself black out, he had to remain awake. Curling into himself, he consciously managed his breath 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, he had to stay aware. Saul pushed himself upright and swaying slightly, reached into his coat's pocket to draw out his sword. A soft noise echoed as the stag emerged at last. "You're still alive, Benny." Yes, it's me. Why don't you look alarmed? I knew you'd show up. What made you so certain that I would? What is it that you want? Benny asked, intrigued. Saul took a shallow breath, steadying himself. First, I need the healing potion, he requested. The stag's eyes curled like crescent moons. That will cost 150 coins. We both know that's not the real price. You've got to be kidding me, Saul thought, forcing a calm smile across his face. You already seem aware of more than expected, and I doubt that's all you came to ask, he added. This creature was far shrewder than Saul had anticipated. There was no time left for trivialities. He needed to act. I can assist you in defeating Zareth at the upcoming tournament. The system, it was a vast survival contest designed to choose the next sun god. The system played judge, humans served as pawns, and intermediaries like the stags tied the two worlds together. Upon hearing Saul's proclamation, the stag erupted into laughter. Hilarious, I haven't laughed like that in centuries. Saul puffed his cheeks in defiance. I'm entirely serious. All right then, who's backing you? The stag inquired. The phoenix, Saul murmured. The stag couldn't hold back a scoff. That measly fallen god is your guardian? Who are you calling puny? Echoed the phoenix's voice inside Saul's mind. Mulling it over, the stag eventually said, I don't know where you're getting this confidence from, but you've caught my curiosity. I'll help you. Right. As any creature would be intrigued by a human with forbidden knowledge, Saul thought while nodding in agreement with the stag. Here, take it, 50 coins, the stag said, tossing the potion towards him. Catching it midair, Saul countered, 25 coins. Veins bulged on the stag's brow, but it muttered, whatever. The creature vanished, and suddenly a pop-up appeared before Saul, scenario type, hidden. As objectives, defeat the horned boar difficulty. A failure, death reward, 1,500 coins. Sub-scenarios were those generated by stags to regulate gameplay. The primary ones came from the system, while hidden scenarios were triggered when certain conditions were met. 1,500 coins was a significant reward, and though Saul hadn't chosen participation, it had been forced upon him. Thankfully, this particular event had no time restriction. He retrieved his sword from his pocket. Facing it directly seemed unwise. Still, he muttered, "Invest 50 coins in speed." Are you sure you want to spend 50 coins on speed? Yes, 50 coins allocated to speed. He surged forward, charging straight at the boar without glancing back, sword extended ahead. The boar too dashed forward at full force. Bam! An explosion detonated between them, flinging both Saul and the creature to opposite directions. Dazed, Saul couldn't quite fathom what had occurred. Was another human present in this forest? Footsteps echoed, growing louder alongside heavy breathing. Then a figure dove forward, landing perfectly in front of him. Dark hair tumbled past her shoulders and crimson eyes locked onto Saul. "Who are you?" she asked. Saul's brain momentarily stalled as he registered her features, then it struck him she was royalty. She was Prince Arthur's sister. "I'm Saul, your brother's partner," he responded. She started laughing. "Oh my God, your name is Saul? That's like being named Lol," and there it was. Saul's worst nightmare realized, someone mocking his name. "Hold on, what did you just say?" he asked, bewildered. In this world, no one should recognize the word lol. It made absolutely no sense here. As if his suspicions were accurate, then she had entered the book just like he did. "It's nothing," she replied, averting her gaze. "No, you definitely said lol, didn't you? What is lol?" As she responded innocently, Saul wasn't convinced she had to be lying. "She's not going to tell the truth easily," he thought in frustration. His irritation grew. "Who the hell are you? And why did you interfere with my attack on the boar? Didn't you say I'm Arthur's sister?" she said with a teasing smile. Sighing, Saul studied her closely. The girl before him didn't resemble Arthur's sister from the novel at all, the one who was shy, meek, and always trailed behind the main character. "I know you're not actually Arthur's sister," he said firmly. "So stop pretending and tell me your real identity." "What do you mean by your boars? I need one for my scenario," Saul complained. "Relax, man, didn't I just save your life?" Amari replied. Saul, visibly irritated, found conversing with Amari increasingly draining. Seeking respite, he wandered into the forest, reasoning it must be secure given the presence of others nearby. "Where's your camp?" he asked. With a smirk, she replied, "And why should I tell you?" Saul pressed his lips together. "Can't you, for once, give a direct answer?" "Okay, fine, geez." Just follow me," she said, leaping onto a massive boar. "And what about me?" he protested. "You can walk," she said matter-of-factly. The two trekked deep into the woods until they reached a secluded clearing. Saul scanned the area but saw nothing unusual. Puzzled, he looked at Amari, who pointed above. "Look up," she said. Overhead, the trees intertwined to form a dense canopy. Nestled within the thick branches sat numerous houses. The view struck Saul as something out of a storybook. Small beings, dwarf-like but with some animal traits, moved about. Known as asuras, these creatures might appear weak compared to humans, yet they outclassed them in intellect. "I can't believe you've been living with the asuras. How did you even discover this place?" He asked, marveling at the surroundings. "I read the book too, this seemed to be the safest spot," she explained. "You ended up reborn as Arthur's sister." He said, envious, picturing her enjoying a luxurious king-sized bed and sumptuous meals daily. "Yeah, and that guy was totally off his rocker," Amari began, but was abruptly cut off by a tall figure with flaming red hair. Am I interrupting something? He asked, pushing his rimmed glasses up his nose as he loomed over them. There's something strange about them, said the phoenix. What do you mean? Saul asked. I can't quite place it, came the reply. Just then, an elderly Usura approached with a tray bearing teacups and a teapot. Tea? He offered. Sure, Saul responded, accepting a cup and tasting the brew. It was, without doubt, the finest tea he had ever had. Asuran tea held a reputation as the pinnacle of quality, and under normal conditions, Saul would never have had the chance to savor it. The Asura leaned in closely and whispered into Saul's ear, "If you're bonded to a guardian, you'd best leave immediately." Ha!